everyone, and welcome to today's video. Top 22 books I want to read in 2022. I'm going to be sharing these books with you in a couple different categories, but before we get into all of that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is once again Book of the Month. If you didn't know, Book of the Month is a super popular and wonderfully convenient book subscription service for readers whose mission is to promote new debut authors and help readers find books they'll love. It's also really amazing when they bring attention to some new releases that are coming out from well-known authors that are my favorites already and include them in their monthly picks. So how it works is each month they go through hundreds of books and pick out a stellar selection of 5 for you to choose from that always include new and early release titles. This is to ensure you spend more of your time reading and less of your time on the researching part. If at any point you're not interested in any of the books they have selected for a certain month, no worries. Your subscription is always risk-free because you can skip anytime you want and you won't be charged. The best part about Book of the Month is that they have the best prices for new release hardcover books. So if you want to sign up today, you can get your first book for just $9.99 with the code Let's Go. I will have it linked down in the description for you if you're interested. Now let's go ahead and get into the 5 picks that they have for January. First up, we have a historical fiction called The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. And this is a tantalizing novel about secrets, betrayal, and murder within one of New York City's most impressive Gilded Age mansions. Then we have their romance pick for the month, which is called Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. And this one is about a girl named Dahlia Woodson whose culinary dreams are coming true. Her marriage ended in a hideous explosion of misery and she's quit her job for the gamble of a lifetime, but she's finally a contestant on the cooking show Chef's Special. We also follow a non-binary love interest in this whose name is London Parker, fighting for more than just a cooking title. There's nothing like a little competition to heat things up. Will London and Dahlia's growing relationship be able to take the heat, or are they about to get burned? And then next we have Fiona and Jane by Jean Chen Ho, and this is a story about female friendship, a witty, warm, and irreverent book that traces the lives of 2 young Taiwanese American women as they navigate friendship, sexuality, identity, and heartbreak over 2 decades. Up next, we have their thriller pick for the month, which is the one I would have snagged, and that is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. One island, 6 visitors, countless secrets. When one person goes missing, another turns up dead. The remaining friends wonder what dark currents lie beneath this impenetrable paradise, and who else will be swept under its secluded chaos. And finally, we have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. This is the author's debut novel about how the inheritance of betrayals, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. We can't choose what we inherit, but can we choose who we become? Book of the Month was also so kind to send me one of their new and recent add-ons, The Maid by Nita Prose. And this one has got a clue-like locked room mystery that I'm very, very excited about. The Maid explores what it means to be the same as everyone else and yet entirely different, and reveals that all mysteries can be solved through connection to the human heart. So thank you again so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video and for sending me these 6 amazing books. I can't wait to read them all, and if you guys want to grab yourself a copy of one of these 5 picks, you can go ahead and click the link down in my description. Don't forget to use the code Let's Go for your first book for just $9.99. Let's go ahead and get into the top 22 books I want to read in 2022. They are categorized in a couple different ways. First, I'm going to start out with the 3 books that are in the category of TBR vets. So I've had these 3 on my shelf for several years now. We have a couple Morgan Matson novels, which look super fun and cute, especially for like the summertime. We've got Since You've Been Gone and Unexpected Everything. Since You've Been Gone is about these 2 girl best friends, Sloane and Emily. And Sloane is the one who's a little bit more outgoing and has pulled Emily out of her comfort zone a little bit. But right before what should have been the most epic summer, Sloane just disappears. All she leaves behind is a to-do list. Emily now has this unexpected summer and the help of Frank Porter to check things off Sloane's list. Who knows what she'll find? So I think it turns into a bit of a romance then from there, but I can't wait to read it in the summer because it sounds like the perfect vibe, as well as The Unexpected Everything, which all I need to know is that it involves all of these dogs. Main character, Andy. So she seems to have her life all planned out, but that was before the scandal, before walking an insane number of dogs, before Clark and those few months that might change her whole life. If everything's planned out, you can never find the unexpected. And where's the fun in that? And it just seems like a fun time. Like I said, I've had it forever, so that's why it's on this list. And then third book that I've had for a very long time that I want to read this year is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Heartbreaking coming of age story and a surprising tale of possible murder. Owens reminds us that we are forever shaped by the children we once were, and that we are all subject to the beautiful and violent secrets that nature keeps. Okay, now our next category is the 2 books I have as picks for my book club that I'm starting this year with my friend Janelle from the channel Janelle Kayla. If you don't know her, I will have her channel linked down below so you can go subscribe to her. We decided to start a book club in 2022. If you don't follow me on Instagram and didn't see that announcement, you can go over there and also find the Instagram account for the book club. It's called the Coffee Break Book Club and I'm super excited for it. But we are going to be doing 2 picks for each month. So the ones that we have picked for January, we're going to kick it off with a young adult fantasy called The Beautiful by Renee Audier, and this one is about vampires. They're back and they're more seductive than ever, and this one is part of a series. I believe there's 3 of them currently. But yes, so this is your typical New Orleans in 1872 following 17-year-old Celine Rousseau, and she encounters vampires. So this is really going to be a fun time. And then the second pick we have for January is Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. And this one is a young adult contemporary dealing with mental health, toxic family relationships, and some hard-hitting topics. So I would look up the trigger warnings for this one if you are wanting to participate. Make sure this is one that you're comfortable reading. I've heard the writing in here is quite fantastic. It's a story of identity, family, and the beauty that emerges when we embrace our true selves. This Japanese girl named Kiko wants to go to her dream art school, but she doesn't get in. So her best friend, or a friend, a childhood friend, invites her to leave her small town and tour art schools on the West Coast. So she jumps at the opportunity in spite of the anxieties and fears that attempt to hold her back. Kiko learns life-changing truths about herself, her past, and how to be brave. So yeah, if you're interested in reading either of these 2 books with Janelle and I in January, make sure to go over to the Instagram, the Coffee Break Book Club, and follow Janelle and my Instagram if you're not already. Get all those updates and stuff, and there will be live shows and everything TBD. Next category is just 1 book, and that is a very popular book that seems to have become a classic now at this point, and that is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. And if you haven't heard about The Book Thief by now, this is a young adult historical fiction set in Nazi Germany during World War II, and we're following a girl named Lizelle when she discovers a handbook called The Gravedigger's Handbook in the snow that was left by accident at her brother's funeral. It is her first act of book thievery, and then Lizelle's foster family brings in a Jewish man and starts hiding him in their basement. The story kicks off from there. This is definitely going to be a very powerful and life-changing book, and I'm very excited to dive in. Okay, and then next we have 2 that are the second and third in a series of a book that I read in 2021. So the reason for these 2 is so that I can finish out the series. I highly enjoyed the first book. That is the 1000th Floor series. So we have number 2, which is called The Dazzling Heights, and number 3, which is The Towering Sky by Catherine McGee. This is a dystopian sci-fi about a really, really tall building and the people who live there. It's like got Gossip Girl vibes, lots of drama, but I loved the world building in this. I think the idea, the concept of a super tall building with each floor and the levels of the building being like the class of the people who live there. So like if you're on the very, very bottom floor, you're practically homeless. But if you're on the 1000th floor, you're like a celebrity and famous and all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed the first one, and I want to finish out the series and see it through, and hopefully they're just as good as the first one. All right, and then the next category is all of my book of the month books that I want to read. This stack is the majority of the book of the month books that I own, but they are the ones that I'm most excited for. So first, we have a literary fiction called The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. This one is about April, who is living in a motorless motorhome that her father won in a poker game. Failing out of school, picking up shifts at Margot's Diner, she's left fending for herself in a town where she's never felt quite at home. When she borrows her neighbor's car to perform at an open mic night, she realizes her life could be much bigger than where she came from. After a fight with her dad, April packs her stuff and leaves for good, setting off on a journey to find a life that's all hers. So this is a coming-of-age literary fiction. All right, and then we're getting into all of my thrillers that I want to read. First on the stack here we have Not a Happy Family by Cherie LaPena. This is about a family where everyone is keeping secrets, even the dead. So someone killed someone and it's a murder mystery. Did someone snap after a dreadful evening, or did another person appear later that night with the worst of intentions? After all, if someone in your family were capable of something as gruesome as this, you'd know, wouldn't you? Next, we have The Collective by Allison Galen. Dives deep into the dark side of justice and the depths of diabolical revenge. Psychological suspense that melds the driving narrative of Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell with the breathtaking twists of The Chain. I don't remember the author of The Chain. Just how far will a grief-stricken mother go to right a tragic wrong? Camille Gardner is a grieving and angry mother who 5 years after her daughter's death is still obsessed with the privileged young man she believes to be responsible. And then we have the one and only Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This one obviously has to be on this list. I need to complete all of Riley Sager and hopefully finish this one in time for his newest release coming in 2022, which is called The House Across the Lake. I want to read this one before that comes out, and then obviously get that one and read that one and have read all of Riley Sager. But this one is about a house sitter or a babysitter. No visitors, no nights spent away from the apartment, no disturbing the other residents, all of whom are rich or famous or both. So you're following Jules Larson, who got a new job as an apartment sitter. There's all these rules that she has to follow. As she gets to know the residents and staff, Jules finds herself drawn to fellow apartment sitter Ingrid, who comfortingly reminds her of her sister who vanished 8 years ago. However, Ingrid tells Jules that these apartments at what's called the Bartholomew. The Bartholomew is not what it seems, and that the dark history hidden beneath its gleaming facade is starting to frighten her. Jules brushes it off as a harmless ghost story until the next day when Ingrid disappears. And then we have The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. Something hasn't been right at the roadside Sundown Motel for a very long time, and Carly Kirk is about to find out why. So we've got a dual timeline, dual perspectives, both set in upstate New York. First in 1982 following Viv Delaney, and then again in 2017 following Carly Kirk. Viv is the aunt of Carly, who mysteriously disappeared from the Sundown Motel before Carly was born. So Carly decides to move to the city Fell in New York and visit this motel. She quickly learns that nothing has changed since 1982 and finds herself ensnared in the same mysteries that claimed her aunt. These next two are from Book of the Month's December picks. We have A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I've heard really great things about this one and I can't wait to read it. We're following Chloe Davis. 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town when Chloe was 12. Now 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. Masterfully done lyrical thriller, certain to be the launch of an amazing career. This cover is very intriguing and I can't wait to get into it. I don't really need to know more. I just want to start reading it. And then the next one from December's picks is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. This one is a magical realism book. It's hauntingly beautiful, hypnotic, and bewitching. A story about fairy tales, our fear of the dark, and losing yourself within the wilderness of your mind. Following our main character, Travis Wren, who has an unusual talent for locating missing people. This one also seems very intriguing. I can't wait to get to it. And then finally, we have a random book that's not under any category. It just sounds like a very fast-paced thriller that I think I'll love if it's done well. Hopefully it's done well, but it is Falling by TJ Newman. And this one is about a pilot who gets told this ultimatum right before they board the plane that he needs to crash this plane or this man is going to kill his family. The inside flap says, "You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the flight." Like I said, just very interesting concept, and I want to see how it plays out. Hopefully it gets crazy. And yeah, that's that. I almost forgot. That is not the final category. That is the final category of books I already own. The actual final category now is all the books that I don't have yet that I want to get. So the last 6 of the 22 are books that I'm going to be buying this year that I'm really wanting to get to. So first we have the thriller In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, and this one has become a lot of people's #1 favorite thrillers of 2021. It came out in August. I don't really know what it's about, but I've heard such great things, and you guys know I love thrillers, so I have to get my hands on it and read it. And then I'm also wanting to read more sci-fi in 2022. I don't have a ton that are on this list because I still need to like research a little bit, but I do have just a couple that I'm wanting to prioritize that made the Goodreads Choice Awards, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This one won the Goodreads Choice Awards, about space and surviving in space on a desperate last chance mission following Ryland Grace. If he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. Except that right now he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. So yeah, sounds freaking amazing. And then the other sci-fi I want to read is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. And this one is about the wondrous, mysterious nature of the human heart. From her place in the store, Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities, watches carefully the behavior of those who come in to browse and of those who pass on the street outside. She remains hopeful that a customer will soon choose her. Oh, okay, but when the possibility emerges that her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. Oh my gosh, wow, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, I had no idea. So it sounds like you're following a robot or some sort of artificial friend, yeah, whatever that means. Like she's a toy in a store and hoping somebody like buys her. I don't know, kind of crazy. This book looks at our rapidly changing modern world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator to explore a fundamental question: what does it mean to love? Yeah, that sounds incredible. I can't wait to read that. I need to get my hands on it. And then the final 3 are more thrillers. We have The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins, is about Jane, newly arrived to Birmingham, Alabama, which is kind of fun because I live in Alabama, but northern Alabama. Jane is a broke dog walker in this gated community full of McMansions, shiny SUVs, and bored housewives. The kind of place where no one will notice if Jane lifts the discarded tchotchkes and jewelry off the side tables of her well-heeled clients. So she's stealing, where no one will think to ask if Jane is her real name. But her luck changes when she meets Eddie Rochester. Recently widowed, Eddie is the most mysterious resident. How can she, plain Jane, ever measure up to his wife, B, who drowned in a boating accident with her best friend? Their bodies lost to the deep. Eddie is rich, brooding, handsome. He could also offer her the kind of protection she's always yearned for. Can she win Eddie's heart before her past or his catches up to her? Wow, sounds like a lot's going on here, but also sounds very interesting. We'll see about that one. And then the next one I have is called The Push by Ashley Audrain. Lots of Ashleys, I feel like. A tense, page-turning psychological drama about the making and breaking of a family, and a woman whose experience of motherhood is nothing at all what she hoped for and everything she feared. It's like about this woman who gave birth to her daughter, and she's convinced something is wrong with her. She doesn't behave like most children do. Then her son Sam is born, and with him, Blythe, the mother, has the blissful connection she'd always imagined with her child. When life as they know it is changed in an instant, the devastating fallout forces Blythe to face the truth. Yeah, I don't know. So about children, motherhood, the daughter's weird. She behaves abnormally, but she loves her son, and so she doesn't get why she isn't feeling the connection with her daughter. I'm not sure. I feel like it's a little open-ended synopsis. Obviously, they don't want to tell you everything, so I think you got to read to find out. So that one does sound very interesting. And then finally, we have, sorry, I'm not looking at you very much. I'm just trying to read the synopsis and everything on Goodreads. The other one I want to read is Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. People don't just disappear without a trace. Shelby Thibault is the first to go missing not long after Meredith Dickey and her 6-year-old daughter Delilah vanish just blocks away from where Shelby was last seen, striking fear into their once peaceful community. Are these incidents connected? I don't know. Everyone wants to know what happened. No one is prepared for what they'll find. Smart, chilling thriller, master of suspense, takes domestic secrets to a whole new level, showing that some people will stop at nothing to keep the truth buried. Those are the top 22 books I want to read in 2022. Please let me know what top books you're hoping to get to next year. That is going to be it from me today. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!